Hey guys, happy Halloween! But by the time you see this, it won't be Halloween because it's Halloween today. So go eat your candy quickly. Yeah, not that funny. But enough with the nonsense. What am I talking about today? Well, it was Martin Luther King Jr. that once said, "Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter." So this is me, trying to keep my life going. Not that it's gonna end anytime soon, but you guys know what he means. So it is my intention to start a string of creative videos to end my own silence on matters that I believe matter. And maybe you saw my first one called I Am Not Anxiety. It's all about the stigma present with mental illness, and particularly one specific stigma that I've encountered many times, and not just from the public, but as something that I've labeled on myself, believed for myself, otherwise known as self-stigma. And I fully admit that we've made so much progress just in the last 10 years on mental health stigma. But that progress has maybe gotten us a little bit of the way out of stigma's ugly shadow. Still not a prime place to be. But if all of us, you and me, would collectively join in this fight, guys, we can make strides in beating this stigma down. Okay, not so violently, but you guys get my point. Right now, I'm not really gonna dig into any of that stigma because it's all in my previous video. So if you haven't seen that video, please go ahead and watch it. Instead though, I want to discuss ways we can combat the stigma that's already out there. Now there are many ways we can do this, but I'm just gonna mention a few of those ways because truth is, there are literally endless options of ways you can think of for yourself. So number one, push through your fear of talking about mental illness. Now stay with me, because I can't just tell you not to be afraid to talk about it. That's like telling me not to scream when Disney sends me falling to my death on Guardians of the Galaxy, previously known as Tower of Terror. Which I really miss Tower of Terror, but also Guardians of the Galaxy is really cool too. But yeah, not gonna happen. See, the stigma is real. So it can be a really scary thing to talk about. I get it. I get scared all the time myself. There are things I'm still ashamed of. But isn't that what needs to change? So I know I can do even little things to fight the stigma. Because if I don't, the stigma wins. If I don't, I'm telling myself I believe the stigma. And the stigma wins. Number two, educate yourself. Helping, especially in the case of mental illness, can be difficult without understanding. And understanding can be hard to come by without educating oneself. In theory, is it simple? Yes. In practice? Not always. See, as we all know, not everything is 100% accurate that's out there. So we have to be wary of how and where we're getting our information. So one place I would suggest starting to educate yourself is the National Institute of Mental Health. If you visit their webpage at www.nih.nih.gov, you'll find a ton of information on a variety of topics and disorders. And you can also follow them on their Facebook page, which makes it easy. So follow it. Number three, look for opportunities to share your story, whether that's about learning about mental illness or suffering through mental illness yourself. Now, I can't really ask you to do this. This is obviously very personal and so much up to you. But stories are powerful. There's a reason we've been telling them since the beginning of time. So if you're at that point where you're like, yeah, or maybe you're like, yeah, whatever you're like, whatever point you're at, if you're ready to share it, then do it. But whatever you do, don't be afraid or ashamed to do what you can. Because every effort counts, no matter how big or how small. Thanks, guys.